Welcome to the Meridian Centre in St. Catharines, Ontario, home to the 2021 Canada Summer Games. This afternoon, we feature game number 4 of the CEBL Summer Series between the Fraser Valley Bandits and the Edmonton Stingers, two teams playing their first game of the second season of the CEBL. Thank you. Welcome inside the Meridian Centre. I'm Jason Tom, alongside Joe Razzo. And Joe, I'm really excited about this matchup from Western Canada.
Yeah, so am I. I just think we've got two teams here. One that has an identity because Coach Jermaine Small and the Edmonton Stingers, the majority of the team has been back. And they're a real team with solid Canadians. They're a physical team. And they may have the two best imports who know each other in Xavier Moon and Travis Daniels. So you've got something, a little bit of a constant. And then on the other side, you've got Coach Kyle Julius in the Fraser Valley Bandits. And he's got a little bit of a consistency because he brought in guys. He made a team of guys that he's coached. And in coaching those guys, what he's done right off the bat is they know where his standard of play is. So the relationship he has with them in a short period window of time, he's done that with a group of guys where he's had success in Taiwan at the Jones Cup. He's trying to emulate it, I think, over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I like these teams because they know each other. The players know each other, and we've got two different styles. We've got a physical style here in Edmonton, and we've got this dog style where they're going to just be tenacious on defense in Fraser Valley.
Going to be competitive. We're going to take a short break here. Again, we have Xavier Moon, the MVP of the league as well. So stay tuned. We'll be back to introduce you to the third member of our crew. We'll be back after a short break.
Most of our clients who come through our door and who are suffering from mental illness, they're feeling a sense of despair and a longing for help. Often, insurance companies are denying disability claims on the basis that there's insufficient medical evidence. We've represented hundreds of clients who suffer from anxiety or depression. We fight for our clients' right to receive the compensation they deserve. If you've been denied long-term disability, don't give up. We can help.
Your long-term disability firm, Kotak Law.
Now we're going to send it over to Amy Audibert, who is with head coach Jermaine Small.
Finally getting the ball in the air.
Well, first and foremost, we're just happy to be playing, and we get, testing to the league how much hard work they put in. But no, I mean, we brought back our core. We feel really good, and after camp, our new pieces are gelling in really easily, and yeah, we're just ready to play.
I wanted to ask you specifically about Xavier Moon, the CEBL MVP from last year. He comes back to camp. What did you see from him, and where is he at as a player?
Yeah, I mean, he looks even better. I thought he was really fast, and he looks even faster. But he's ready. We both have a little bit of a bitter taste in our mouth from last year, and we're ready to go. And he's ready.
You look happy.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm really, really happy about it.
Coach, we're going to let you go get this ball up and get ready for the game. We'll go back to you, Jason.
Thank you, Amy. And yes, I know Jermaine Small has been waiting to get back onto the floor. Didn't know if this was actually going to happen at some point. So he is very excited to have an opportunity to get back to where they wanted to go, which was the CEBL championship game. And, we mentioned it off the top when we were talking about keys of the game for these two squads. Kind of different, but at the same time, some similarities.
Yeah, absolutely. But the fact that you know each other, that you've been together for a team, and the roster knows each other, and the key players know each other, like that makes familiarity becomes a huge advantage, I think, for Edmonton in that. And I mean, the other part of it is, I think, finding your personality for Fraser Valley is a huge part. Like, as you evolve, as this tournament evolves, you will find your personality. And it's not your personality when things are going well, it's find your personality when things aren't going real well. And you'll find your leaders, you'll find, are people jumping ship on you, whatever. All those things happen with a brand new team in the first game of the series. Because I think this will be a tough series for anybody to go undefeated. So you've got to make sure that you stay together throughout the trip.
one of those things too that you need to be peaking at the right time. And Edmonton's one of the teams that actually doesn't have 2 days off at any point during this summer series, and that's something that they have to kind of have in their minds. It's a good thing that they are deep, and when you look at the starting lineups for both teams, Fraser Valley has got Marcus Capers, Malcolm DeVivier, Cameron Forte, Kyle Johnson, and Junior Cadogan. That is a lot of size no matter the position. And then on the other side, Xavier Moon, Jordan Baker, Matthew Kamba, Bambi Diawara, and Travis Daniels. Again, 2 teams that have a lot of different size, but in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one change in the Edmonton lineup is Bambi Diawara from their lineup over that they've had over the year, from last year. And I think he brings them a little bit of size and a little bit of athleticism, and it allows them to have maybe one of the best 6 men in the league, Adika Peter McNeely, to come off the bench.
Going to be very, very interesting, these 2 teams. Kyle Julius with an opportunity here with Fraser Valley to be able to coach here back at home as you take a look at tonight's officials, who will again be using these whistle-less whistles? Is that the best way to put it?
Electronic whistles.
There you go, electronic whistles. I knew that's why you're here. Man.
And man, I tell you, you know what? These things were made for COVID. There's no hand-to-mouth situations, and there's no aerosol, so everybody feels safe.
Remember that, a reminder that the official game ball of the CBL is Spalding. Get your new CEBL official replica ball today by visiting cebl.ca, and it is a beautiful basketball that they're using out there. The Fraser Valley Bandits in the burnt orange. It's beautiful, whatever it is. The home team for this one, the Edmonton Stingers, led onto the court by Xavier Moon. That is a name you're going to be hearing early and often in this game. The Stingers in the yellow with white trim.
I liked how Coach Small said he was smiling when he was talking about Xavier Moon. He's smiling. There's 6 other coaches in this tournament that are just frowning when they talk about Xavier Moon. He is an impact player, and he's a solid player.
You're going to see Fraser Valley giving up height in a lot of different ways, but 3 seconds in, they got a bucket under their belt.
And that's exactly what Coach Julius is excited about. His team was thinking on the opening tip and stole the jump.
I didn't even get my rosters out in time to be able to call this because that happened so quickly. Kyle Julius caught me unprepared. He would not appreciate that. Moon, no good. Junior Cadogan with the rebound. They are pushing the Bandits. They're going to run in every opportunity they have. Down low in the post. Foul on the hip.
And you can see real early right now that Cam Forte is going to be something that they're going to look at. They're going to play through him as much as they can.
He took a shot early, right on that hip pointer. Anybody who's played the game at any level knows all about that pain. Tough start right there for him. Cadogan back up top to Forte. Gets around Jordan Baker. Nice little drive and finish. Lefty's good to go. Xavier Moon. Baker. Diawara. Pull-up 3. No good. Rebound to Vivian.
And I love the way already we've seen 2 transition situations by Fraser Valley. They push the ball with the dribble and look for the open man, but they don't walk it up the court.
Nice look down low. Forte no good, gets his own rebound, puts it right back up.
And he's showing you, the lefty's showing you what he's got, but he's got a real good right hand too. He's a natural scorer in the paint.
Early 6-0 lead here for Fraser Valley as they're getting out early and often. Edmonton looking to answer. No good. Good defense. Foul called down low. Going to go on Marcus Capers, I believe.
Often early in the game, you're going to get a lot of ball screens because teams want to get a read on how their other team is playing it. And right there, as they came off the ball screen and got the switch, then they decided to attack it. And good offensive rebound by Travis Daniels, who may set the widest screen in the CBL. He's got huge shoulders, and I guess you can only go shoulder width apart by rules. He is the widest, most stationary screen we have in this league.
Yeah, he was a presence for the Stingers last year in their run to the CEPL championship weekend. The Bandits, like I was saying, they have size in a different way. Their guards are just so wide. Like, it looks like they've been living at the weight room down at the team hotel there for the last 8 days. I mean, these guys are just built different. Forte working on Baker. Baker is country strong himself. Pulls it down.
And that's the matchup that they want. They don't want to put Daniels on him because they don't want Daniels to foul out, but Jordan Baker's one of the most physical players.
Achukamba checks in from the land beyond. Cut the lead to 2, 6-4 here in the early going. Handoff to Dugan, the veteran Canadian national team member. Pull up 3, no good. Rebound goes the way of Fraser Valley. Baker got a hand on it, couldn't save it. And right back to Forte early and often.
So long rebound, run down, chase it down, give you a second chance opportunity on that. Good play by Fraser Valley.
Baker. A little miscommunication there. Baker was looking for a little backdoor feed, but not to be.
Kyle Johnson did a real good job defensively of taking away that feed, anticipating it, and he caused the turnover as much as anyone.
Interchangeable parts when it comes to bringing the ball up. Fraser Valley can really call on anybody to do that. Cadogan beat Brody Clark in the game for the Stingers for the first time. The corner 3, cash money, Kyle Johnson.
That weave, just the movement of it, got Kyle Johnson open there for a little bit.
Cadogan found himself back down by Brody Clark there and got the early foul call. Clark has already signed to go overseas.
Yes, and this is perfect. The fact that he's now going to have 2 CBL, 1 full season and a series under his belt, and 5 years of U Sport basketball, he will be ready. He's physically ready.
Absolutely. Tough pass to throw there. Transition, Vivier. Off glass is good. Fraser Valley having no problem on the offensive end right now, up 9.
And just pushing.
Ooh. Spent his time getting everybody else involved so far. Peter McNeely out there off the bench. Ooh. Looked like that was all ball up top, maybe calling it on the body.
But what I like is already on their defensive series, the Bandits are nothing but communication. Everybody's talking. Doing a real good job of communicating the situation.
Much like in every other game, the horn went just as the free throws get lined up.
But I thought last year Peter McNeely was one of the best players, maybe the best 6th man in our league, a starter on any team. But he just brings them energy because he can play at multiple positions at the guard spot and defend multiple people.
Again. It's funny. Brody Clark started the game on the bench, saw what Forte was doing, gets on the floor. What's the first thing he does? I know where he's going. I'm going to step in and draw that.
Absolutely. And a guy like Cam Forte, what you're doing is you're fighting for real estate early. Like, you can't let him get you low because he's not a 3-point shooter. He's an inside scorer, both hands. But you got to fight and make sure that he's taking a longer shot.
We've already talked about this, about who starts and who ends. I'm just sitting here realizing now that the league assist leader from last season, Merrick Classen, is coming off the bench. But that's somebody who's bought in. He's saying, whatever you need me to do, coach, I don't need to start.
Yeah, and Merrick, talk about somebody who pushes the pounds of the ball. He can push the basketball.
Yes. And
he will find open shooters.
What a luxury to be able to have him coming off the bench as your backup point guard. One of the lone bright spots for the Bandits last season. Tough first year in the CEBL. Classic. Pass, move. Pass up the layup. Kick out. Well, what do I know? Kick out to the 3, and it's good from Malcolm Vivier.
Always looking. I agree with you. I thought he had a pretty good lane to the basket, but he's always looking.
With the steal, Vivier Look at his teammates running up the floor to help him up as soon as they can.
So Malcolm's known as a shooter, and all of a sudden on this team, you just can't be an offensive player. You've got to be a dog on the ball. And he did a real good job of anticipating.
And then checking into the game, Jahez Menega, who head coach Kyle Julius says he thinks that Menega is the best Canadian that people don't know about in the CEBL this season.
Well, I met him in high school. He was part of the NITA program, and I thought big things were going to happen. When he went to Creighton, he had a great career there.
And let's check in with Amy Audibert, who we talked to earlier in the game. Amy, what do you got?
Well, Coach, you talked a little bit about Kyle Julius in the opening, the way he formed this team when he was hired in December from Taiwan, where he was coaching pro. And what he told me earlier this week, it's exactly what you're seeing on the court. He said, obviously we needed talent, but I went after my dogs. And my gosh, he said, he's not scared to play small, to get up and down. And you look at the way they start, they have really bought into Coach Julius to start this one off.
Forming defense, thank you, Amy. Third member of our crew always coming in and dropping knowledge on us. Vivier, front rim, no good, Moon with the rebound. And that is Xavier Moon, the flash flying up your screen there. That if you see a yellow blur at any point, that's Xavier Moon.
And one of the things that the Bandits are going to try to do is stop transition basket. That's where Edmonton is their strength. But you saw that last series. The Bandits did a great job in the half court of on-the-ball defense.
Running a lot through him. That is a lot of body banging down low, and it's Forte past Baker.
And Baker did a good job of making him start outside, but it's Forte's ability just to push back a little bit all the time.
Boom, crossover, dribble, drive, out of bounds, staying with the Stingers.
Did you see how quickly the Bandits came back and covered down on that?
We got our first media timeout of the first quarter. Fraser Valley came out and smacked the Stingers in the mouth. We're up 13. We'll be back after a short break.
Media timeout.
Welcome to Payworks. We're payroll, HR, and time and absence management experts. So whether your business has thousands of employees or just one, let us show you how we're different. We're Payworks, and we're doing business to business, person to person.
Follow the Fraser Valley Bandits on social media right now to get the latest news, updates, and behind-the-scenes access that the Bandits have to offer. Follow the Edmonton Stingers on social media right now to get the latest news, updates, and behind-the-scenes access that the Stingers have to offer.
Welcome back to the Niagara region, where the latest gear, exclusively from New Era, the official merchandise partner of the CEBL. Visit the store at cebl.ca to pick up your favorite team gear. Really tough to find a favorite. New Era did such a great job with all of this merchandise. Make sure you can check it out at cebl.ca or any of the team sites to direct you the right way. Foul in the corner, and they're going to say 3 free throws from Nambi Diawara.
What we saw there to start play there after the timeout was the Bandits went to a zone. Fraser Valley attacked it inside real quick, fought on the boards, got 2 boards on the kick out. And now they realized after that timeout they got to try to match the same intensity that the Bandits came out with.
If you're looking at Fraser Valley, Cameron Forte, 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting there in the early going. 8 of 12 Fraser Valley came out from the field. Only 4 guys got shots. They had a game plan, they had a focus, and they executed it to perfection.
The stat that jumps at me is the fact they went 7-0 on points off of turnovers. And so they not only are they forcing turnovers, but they're running out after them.
One thing to be able to run out and get baskets in transition, but you have to be able to do that defensively as well. Well, Edmonton still down double digits. Forte, once again, he's letting everybody know, you don't have anyone who can stop me right now.
Great combination of a guy who likes to go left but can finish with his right with that spin.
Nice little bounce pass drop off the way of Brogan Martin. Has it on a string, but little push off on the off arm. And Diawara's little flop.
Everywhere in basketball, if somebody gets into your personal space, we all find it aggressive. But someone, Adika Peter McNeely gets into your space all the time.
Have to mention we have a little bit of basketball royalty here on the Edmonton Stingers bench. And, the father of Corey and DeVoe, EJ David Joseph down there. That's good for the Stingers. Dugan, the pocket pass. Karia Nix, no good from range. Long rebound. Forte comes up with it. Steal. Here, head coach Kyle Julius wants a timeout. He saw his double-digit lead come down to 8. Immediately wants to talk it over with his crew.
What they did get out of that was they got a long rebound, and they did a real nice job of getting a second chance opportunity here with this baseline out of bounds that they're going to have a chance to set up.
We talked a couple of times about Kyle Julius as the coach, but Kyle Julius the trainer. My conversation with him, which I found very interesting, was he said, Jay, taking a look at every roster in this league, I got a minimum of 3 guys on every team that has spent some time in the gym with Kyle Julius in the offseason. And I say that only because, basketball circles here in Canada are so small, but on top of that, when you have somebody like that teaching that sort of attitude, you and I talk about all the time, what is the identity of Canadian basketball? And I think we're starting to find it. Just guys who give it their all, no matter the position. We give up height and weight sometimes, but you're never going to outwork Canadian players.
Yeah, and the big thing with training guys and being successful is to train them in game situations. It's not a matter of shooting shots. It's got to be competitive. You got to compete against yourself. You got to start developing that attitude. And ultimately, that attitude is accountability. Like, you just can't go in the gym and be satisfied knocking down 50% of your shots. You got to get over to the next level, and then you got to make them real shots. So that's what he's done a real good job in his training, and he's used that because the guys he trains are the guys he wants.
Back to game action, Cadogan inbounding. Foul called. Diawara, I think, picking up his second. See Zach Overwater checking in the game for the Stingers.
A nice baseline out of bounds on that. It's a late, sometimes baseline out of bounds plays go on the first, second, or two. That was a late one because what they wanted to do was they wanted to get a screen, and they got a switch, and therefore we got a nice post up, easy pass. And you got the right guy passing the ball, Junior Cadogan. If you're open, he'll find you.
Up top, that's an open back.
For people not aware of the FIBA rules, once the ball's in the front court, either with a side out of bounds or a baseline out of bounds, you cannot throw it into the backcourt.
It's funny, I've been calling FIBA games for so long from the high school level and everything else that I'm so used to it at this point. To go back when I watch NBA games now, I get thrown off. Down low. Baker fires into the corner. Daniels wasn't ready for that. Peter McNeely always ready to pull the trigger. Cadogan tries to come down with it, saves it from going out of bounds. Venega, transition, Vivier. Ooh, that's going to be a charge Lots of contact and bodies hit the floor in this one, Joe.
That's the second turnover Adika Peter McNeely has caused on defense, taking 2 charges now in this quarter, getting his team back in the game.
3 minutes left here in the opening quarter. Fraser Valley jumped out to an early double-digit lead. They've been able to maintain, even though their offense has hit a bit of a wall here. Overwater, kick back out. Peter McNeely, push off, back the other way, making it easy for the officials so far today in the first quarter.
And what you saw there was the Bandits went to a 2-3 zone, just trying to change it up. But sometimes when you do change it up, you slow teams down because now you get them thinking a little bit, and all of a sudden you've now affected the tempo of the game of what they want to do.
And that's why you see the defending champs throw the box in 1, making guys think. Dugan up top, wide open. Junior knocks him down.
That's a big 3 for the Bandits. Junior, always been a decent shooter, but now the confidence of the open 3s he's had today, he took. That's a big play for them.
Fraser Valley just swarming on the closeouts. Right there, though, the Stingers, the best rebounding team in the league last year, getting back to what they do best. Baker now, not his shot. Out of bounds off of Baker. Fraser Valley get the rock back.
So part of them going zone with the Bandits might be just after timeout or because Xavier Moon's off the court.
Hand off Menega. Olu Ashalu in the game for the first time today, setting the screen. Now he's down low, asking it from Junior. Those two know each other from a long time together. Foul on Overwater.
So that was real nice. We watched Cam Forte back his way in. Olu faces up, takes a dribble, and then spins his way in. And both with the same result, starting outside and getting closer to the basket.
And Olu spent some time in Japan, and it didn't take long. Didn't take long for the close relationship between Jermaine Small and Kyle Julius having a little conversation here. This is what I came for. The basketball is one thing, but the relationships we have within this league, both teams get warmed, and I just had to bring it what Jermaine Small was saying. He was like, Junior Kaduka's my son. I mean, we're from the same area. We chat all the time. We were sending emojis back and forth before the game, talking trash. No call. Daniels, some good D. Cadogan ends up on the floor. Peter McNeely, mid-range game deadly.
And Edmonton's been at its best when they're scoring transition or on their secondary.
Ooh, that's a nice pass. It would have been a tough one if it was a turnover, but it was great to Cadogan from Menega.
It was a nice pick and pass because it was a great catch.
Good.
Junior with the big hands.
You can only throw that pass to certain guys. Junior's one of them. Under a minute to go. 13-point lead for Fraser Valley. Corner. Daniels. Oh, I didn't know he had that in his game.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, I think that's the first look where he's got the ball out of the offense.
That's scary. I knew what he brought when it came to the physicals and the basketball IQ. And answer back, Menega from the land beyond.
And a nice solid double screen on the baseline to get him open. Well run, real quick and efficient.
McNeely, just a 2-second difference game clock, shot clock, and that time will run off after a made basket, so we're just gonna hold on to it. Neely, no good. Oh, they left a little bit of time. Cadogan got to launch it. Not happening. 32 points for Fraser Valley in the first quarter. They're up 13 after the opening 10 minutes. We'll be back to St. Catharines after a short break.
What is 100 years? In 1920, Erhard Cook turned a passion for headwear into the New Era Cap Company in Buffalo, New York. But everyone was making this kind of hat. So we came up with the big idea to make the best caps for the biggest sport. But something wasn't quite right. We wanted to show the logos with pride. And just like that, the iconic 5950 was born, changing the baseball cap forever. For the first time, the caps the pros wore on the field were officially sold in stores. And then something unique happened. Spike Lee called, the Spike Lee, and asked to have a red Yankees cap to match his jacket. We asked Major League Baseball, and they said, we had a chance to be disruptive. Spike's red cap launched sports headwear into a wider culture. Hip-hop made it a staple. Creators made it their own. Colors, fabrics, patterns. It was more than just your favorite team. And a gold sticker on the visor became as iconic as the cap itself. And those 4 numbers, we think it's an original production number. We don't know for sure, but we love them. From courtside to Crenshaw, from the 50 to 5th, it shouted that this is who you were, what you repped, and where you lived. The world saw it and wanted it. Where were we? Staying true to our roots. Fans of all sports became fans of us. People liked what we were doing, so our brand grew, and we became more than just a cap. That's 100 years. We thank you. Enjoy what comes next.
Second quarter action at the Meridian Center, brought to you by Ward One Studios, the national video partners of the CEBL. Also have to mention, as part of the CEBL social justice work, you will hear players, coaches, and staff speak out against racism. Simply because racism is not our game. It's featured at each baseline as a reminder of the work we all need to do for equality in Canada, and the CEBL stands with its players against racism in all of its forms.
The Bandits right there did an absolutely great job on defense. They just played straight up. An honest D did it.
Baker saves it, and a guy comes up with it. 4 Bandits outside the three-point arc. It's a good thing Kyle Johnson hit it.
Yeah, and that started with the 50-50 ball. That thing goes up, and the Bandits first to the ball.
Daniels hands off Baker. These two were just monsters on the glass for the Stingers last season. Boom, down low. Clark. Brody Clark. That was smooth.
Brody can score a bunch of different ways, but I think when he gets into the paint there, that's his strength.
The reigning CEBL U Sports Player of the Year. Last year battled injuries, but still had a great learning experience with the Stingers squad. Forte almost came down with it. Looking for a whistle, not there. Xavier Moon has been quiet, really focused on getting everybody else involved. The MVP with the rock right now. Mid-range jumper, no good. Brody Clark cleaning up the mess. Get to the line to shoot 2.
One of the reasons he's been quiet right now is because the Bandits are doing such a good job in getting into a half-court defense. I think the strength of this Edmonton team is scoring in transition, but you can't if the other team does a great job of getting back.
Said that Fraser Valley would be trying to get out in the open floor as early and often as possible, but getting back defensively is the other part of that. And because they run so often, they're going to have to continue to cycle through their bench. Amy Audibert, what you got down there?
The free throw right there is Brody Clark. Just behind him at half court, his teammate, his mentor, also for 3 years his assistant coach at the University at Alberta. And Brody Clark said that the dynamic hadn't changed because he says, that's my mentor. Jordan Baker is the guy that I've been chasing into the weight room and following and doing summer workouts for years now, and to get out on the court with him, it's nice to just have him there.
Very, very cool. That's what the CEBL is all about, Amy. It's the fact that two players like that who are connected at the youth sports level now here playing alongside one another at the professional level. Jordan Baker, the Golden Bears ghost, if you will. Brody Clark trying to go after that title. There's a foul on the 3 attempt. Menegat will go to the line to shoot. Nope. Yep, shooting 3.
And that's a momentum breaker because they played real good defense the last couple series, had a good run out, and then all of a sudden now you play good defense again, and that foul just takes away from that defensive momentum, that confidence that Edmonton was building up.
That was, as you were saying that, I was looking at head coach Jermaine Small. He had the look on his face is exactly what the words you were saying. It was an absolute killer, especially when you send a shooter like Menegat to the line. To go to Creighton, you have to be a good shooter before you get there, and you become a better shooter after Creighton. Couple decent shooters out of that program.
One of the things on the free throw line is the Bandits only have one player, and when you only have one player, you're allowing the defense to attack the rim on a missed free throw, or when the ball hits the rim. So by not putting two players in there, you're giving one defensive rebounder an opportunity to run at the rim and try to knock off a free throw. One of the reasons they were back is they were sitting in that, they wanted to get in that 2-3 zone.
That was the scream you heard was from Cadugan because he felt like he got pushed off, and the official didn't call the foul call. Instead, he called it on the track.
Well, Junior's finally healthy the last couple of years, and right now is playing like he's got this chip on his shoulder, and he will be like that for the entire series.
Well, I mean, coming up and changing, Finch Cadugan was just born that way. Now, a player who's just put his blood, sweat, and tears in the Canadian men's national team now has an opportunity to come out here, as you mentioned, healthy, an opportunity to show what he can do against Canada's best, against CEBL, 80% Canadian, and there's another Canadian, Kyle Johnson from downtown. He's been hot, another Scarborough native in CEBL.
He had a great career, and he's got 2 passports, British and Canadian, and all that experience with the British team has helped him.
Shut out the Commonwealth. Kids out there.
And a guy scored 51 points in a game.
Yes.
I've never done that in layups.
I did that over a course of a weekend. Capers. Man, I mean, Fraser Valley's just shooting the leather off it right now.
Marcus Capers gives him that. That's really impressive because he's such a good defensive player and slasher. He starts knocking down shots. Woo.
You're seeing the game plan for the Stingers. They are using their size and getting some nice backdoor cuts off of the high-low feeds, but they keep giving up threes. The math isn't going to work out to their advantage. You cannot catch up to Xavier Moon in transition. Will touch past dime. That's the MVP. Forte up top. Hands up. And again. Forte. Free throw line. Taking it at the kid, Brody Clark. He just schooled him, Joe.
Yeah, and you know what? Playing the high, that's not even a high-low game. It's just an isolation. So you're playing through him at the post or at the high post or the low post. And the result is he's going to finish the same way at the rim.
I think on his way back up the floor, he signaled to the bench, hey, I need a bit of a breather here. Cadugan taking it right at Moon, but sent back. Big time swat. That you count.
Time on the floor called by Edmonton.
Just creeping up on the midway point of the second quarter. Edmonton having trouble offensively, but you have to give it to Fraser Valley's defense.
Oh, it's all been about Fraser Valley's defense. You know, if we look at the shot charts of when they've scored, Edmonton has scored a bunch in transition, but they haven't scored in the half court, except for offensive putbacks. Edmonton is trying their darndest to move it, but the Bandits are locking on the ball. They've controlled the ball. They are bullying over screens. they won't let you get to the middle and create, and that's what the Bandits think they can always do with Xavier Moon. He just should be able to get free range. But different guys, they've got players who are defending the ball so well. Pretty impressive.
I think the biggest thing as well, when you have a 17-point lead early in the game like this, when you see Fraser Valley continuing to find success from three-point range, it's very difficult for the Stingers to be able to get back into it. And we've seen a lot of their offense has been through their size, their baseline cuts. That's only getting you 2 points.
Yeah, and the other part that we're forgetting is all those 50-50 balls. Guys going out of bounds, throwing the ball back. Who's been getting all those? The Bandits.
I mean, Amy mentioned it, and I mentioned it previous couple times as well. And we say this in the most positive way possible. But Fraser Valley, it's interesting that they're known as the Bandits. I know it's a canine connection, but a bunch of dogs on this team that are out to show people that they're the underdogs. They know that they're written off coming off of last season, brand new squad. But this is a bunch of guys. A lot of them came through D2 ranks, college ranks, had to really work their way up and earn their stripes professionally.
And not only are they playing hard, but they're playing crisp.
Yes.
So when you run your offense fast and crisp and solid, good things are going to happen.
See Sasha Capos checking in for the first time. Jordan Baker. Nice signs for the Stingers. Capos, very interesting story there out of the East Coast. A basketball powerhouse that's being built in Delaware. Ashley. Big collision down low. Daniels and Ashley, those two big bodies. Rings out. Foul.
And I thought Edmonton got lucky on that last play because when Capos came in, maybe they're not expected to jump in the game like that. All of a sudden there was a mismatch. And you had Ashley in the post with Xavier Moon. I like Ashley's chances in those situations.
I mean, Olu back in the day had a lot of lift, throw down with the best of them. Maybe lost a little bit of his bunnies, but he makes up for it now, obviously, with his veteran leadership, basketball IQ that he brings to this squad. Also a guy who's earned his stripes professionally and knows what it takes to win in a condensed series like this. Johnson on his wing. Nice take, Kyle Johnson. He's on one right now.
I love the way that the Bandits just constantly move the ball up the court. We've never seen a situation where they've walked the ball up the court.
Leads up to 17. Fraser Valley come out barking. Go up 3. Yeah, you can see Ashley didn't get out for the rebound there, got bailed out by his teammates. Capos called for foul.
Just feels that the Bandits in the full court always are looking to run downhill. Always looking to run downhill. Early transition screens, downhill attack.
His first foul, team second.
Interesting story there about Capos. When you look down and see he's from Miami, Florida, how'd he end up at Duluth? But it was his father, Tom Capos, who played at UPI, then went to St. Mary's, back-to-back championships with that St. Mary's squad, played with Rick Plato. He's now the head coach at Duluth. Connection made, and you end up getting Capos here because why? Canada not only obviously becoming more known for basketball, but the academics, he wanted to take marine biology, and great connection there in Halifax.
I think their program is better than Lethbridge when it comes to marine biology.
Probably a little closer to the water right there. Menega, no good. Baker Moon, he had to really break a sweat. Drive, no good. Lots of contact, no whistle. They got numbers as Fraser Valley. Johnson, corner, Klassen. No. It's a good thing for the Stingers that Fraser Valley haven't been able to cash all those open opportunities. They'd be up larger than they are. Still up 19.
This is what Marcus Capers does. He is a long, athletic defender. He can fly, but what he does is he reads that passing lane as well as anybody. So not only they put pressure on the ball, they're putting pressure on the passing lane. And that was out of the zone.
Daniels, high post, onto the wing, no good, no rebound. Ashley, the classic. Then again. Little mid-range game, Kyle Johnson. 2:58 left. That was a horn that was not supposed to go.
If there's a way to score, Kyle Johnson's done it today. He showed us with the 3, he showed us with the 2, he's driving to the basket.
Little confusion there on the mistaken horn, but after the officials had to come over to talk to the table, technically that is a stoppage in play.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely.
I would say that was home court officiating, or sorry, scorekeeping, but not in this particular case. Peter McNeely, though, hits from the land beyond. That's a big basket because Edmonton needed to get something there on offense. Ashland hands off, classic. Gets it back, lots of contact. Olu Ashland, the OG, with a little wink to the bench.
And to me, that's a great example of running your stuff crisply. Turning on that corner, you can watch Merrick come hard off the handoff. He sets it up, and all of a sudden the rotation for the Stingers is late. Olu rolling the basket with no help.
Ashland put in work overseas in the Far East.
But in a quiet gym, just listen. All you hear are Bandits on offense, on defense, constantly. The bench, everything. They're communicating all the time. And they echo the call. Call's made and they pass it on to the next guy.
Talked about it before too, their bench is in front of their defense. Able to call things out, doing things that aren't seen on the floor. There's Clark taking it at the vet, and the vet with the stop. Classic, push it back the other way. Running off the Ashley screen, he slips it, and a big basket. They called the offensive foul on the off arm.
That's a tough break, because I tell you, Ashley ran the floor, set a nice transition screen, which is the hardest screen to defend, and then on the roll. I think he didn't need the arm because he's so big and strong.
I'll tell you this, after all the energy we saw Cameron Forte bring on the floor, he's bringing as much or more on the bench. He's loving what his vet Olu Ashley is putting on out there, but that basket called back due to the offensive foul call.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left in the first half.
Clark flashes up to the top. Really good footwork by Brody Clark.
And he used his size there. He buried Capers on that.
A healthy Brody Clark is fun to watch. Getting after it is Kamba. And look at the Bandits, just after it, like a dog on a bone out there. Capers gets to the baseline, kick out, classic. Waited a second. Yeah, I think he got a little freaked out on the closeout there. Boom, floater, no good.
But great defensive transition by the Bandits again. They got back and they made it a 3-on-3 rather than a 3-on-2.
And look at the pass finished off by Capers. I mean, they're knocking on the door of 60 with a minute left on the Fraser Valley Bandits right now.
And all their transition is with 5 guys. Nobody's taking a rest in transition, standing back, being a cheerleader. All 5 guys are running the floor.
Peter McNeely's starting to warm up.
And he's been the savior so far this half for the Stingers.
He lost it on the dribble, and Moon felt blood and went after it. Moon getting fancy with it. McNeely from the land beyond. 25 seconds to go. The the Stingers have gotten exactly what they needed at the end of this half.
They just got to build a little momentum and take some confidence in. They need to stop here.
For everything that's went the Bandits' way, if the Stingers can get a stop here, they'll head into halftime feeling pretty good about the momentum. That's Newby, no good. It's a 17-point lead for the Fraser Valley Bandits. We've talked a lot about them, but you're the Stingers. What do you need to get changed heading into the second half, Joe?
Well, you could build up some momentum that last 30 seconds. You've got to stop them. You've got to stop their transition, and that's the first thing you have to match their intensity.
We are awaiting our halftime interview, and it looks like it's going to be Kyle Johnson who will be joining Amy Otterberg. Pretty good pick if you ask me, Joe. Kyle, I mean, you could have picked any of the Bandits, but really Kyle had it going from every part of the floor.
Yeah, and with COVID, you're lucky you don't have to touch his hands because he's hot as heck.
And we are going to join now Amy, who is joined by Kyle Johnson of the Fraser Valley Bandits.
Thanks, Jason. Kyle, 15 points at half, perfect from the field. What was the pregame message that got you so fired up to play?
It's been a long time since we played a game, but we've been practicing really hard in training camp, and we just wanted to come out and set the tone. I think we did a good job of that.
59 points at half, that's an incredible pace. That's hard to sustain a whole game. So how do you lean on each other to keep that up?
We just can't be complacent, and we have a group of hungry players that we're just going to push each other to just keep going harder. You know, we know it's like going to be a lot of games and consecutively, so we just got to stay on each other and push each other.
Well, you got a nice bet here at halftime. We appreciate your time, Kyle, and we'll be right back for more halftime action.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Oh God, I've been running now. Up early when the sun is out. Not setting out my own soul, but those real ones, they coming out. Oh, look who's reaching out. Old friends wanna feature now. They don't work, so they need it free. Ooh, you reaching out from the west side of that old town, but there's no shows till I go down to the open mic. Show love to the real ones that know now. Some of y'all don't know now. In a couple months, you gon' find out. Been blowing up from the underground, and they stepping on and land mine now. And he knows it's my time now. Coming up, I'm on a climb now. Everybody claim they been ballin', but it's looking like they took a time out. Okay, I'm working on a Wednesday, then up again the next day. So-and-so is popping, man, I skip him like he leg day. Kick it like I'm Pele, I never care what they say. Put myself on Spotify, so every day my payday. That realness, don't feel this, but I've been sick, that illness. I've been fresh like Will Smith since 94, man, I built this. Stressed out, X'd out, missed calls from my ex now, but I'm staying focused in the lab, baby, I don't need your calls or your text now. God say the boy blessed now. Who am I to say Rondo? And the way that I sell ticks, they been calling me Rondo. 23 in my prime though, finna ball like Lonzo. Go and tell everybody talking stage better be in that convo.
It was a code 10, hard water again. Worst part is, Claire was unaware. Ah.
Hey, Culligan, our water makes my skin and hair feel like I'm 90.
Okay, are you 90?
I'm not.
Okay, secondly, how do you feel about high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
What?
And thirdly, how do you feel about smoother skin and luxurious hair?
Goodly. I feel very good about that.
That's the power of water. Stay soft, right?
You stay soft.
Good water doesn't just come to you. Oh, wait.
Welcome back to the Meridian Center. It's a 59-42 lead for the Fraser Valley Bandits. Jason Tom here alongside Joe Rasso, and we have some more halftime coming up in a bit, Joe. But before we get there, just generally your thoughts on Fraser Valley. Are you surprised? I feel like there was some concern about their offensive scoring possibly heading into this one.
Man, I think I was snowed. I said one of the keys for them is they have to find their identity. They knew what their identity was when they walked in. They had no question. They just wanted to make sure they were keeping it quiet, that everybody else was second guessing what it would be. And it was exactly what you thought it would be. They played with a chip on their shoulder. They played downhill on offense. They created a great half-court defense. They built it real well. They collapsed they didn't give Xavier Moon opportunities to get to the middle of all the way to the basket. They said, okay, if you're going to go up all the way in, you're going to have to pass it out.
Yeah.
They took Travis Daniels out of the game a little bit. No, I was incredibly impressed, and that short training camp must have been some great basketball.
Absolutely. Halftime coming at you in just a few minutes. We'll go through some stats, and we'll also have Amy Audibert talking to head coach Kyle Julius, somebody we've spoken about a lot, but you'll hear from him in halftime. We'll be back after a short break.
Most of our clients who come through our door and who are suffering from mental illness, they're feeling a sense of despair and a longing for help. Often, insurance companies are denying disability claims on the basis that there's insufficient medical evidence. We've represented hundreds of clients who suffer from anxiety or depression. We fight for our clients' right to receive the compensation they deserve. If you've been denied long-term disability, don't give up. We can help.
Your long-term disability firm, Kotak Law.
It's time to rep your CEBL pride, Canada. Exclusive New Era merchandise is now available on cebl.ca. Buy your favorite hats, replica jerseys, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. Welcome to our game. Bandits fans, right now you can get 12% off 2021 season tickets by placing your $50 deposit before August 9th, 2020. Visit thebandits.ca and take advantage of this exclusive summer series offer. Welcome to a new basketball experience. Edmonton Stingers fans, get 12% off 2021 season tickets by placing your $50 deposit before August 9th, 2020. Visit cebl.ca/thestingers and take advantage of this exclusive summer series offer. Welcome to a new basketball experience.
What is 100 years? In 1920, Erhard Cook turned a passion for headwear into the New Era Cap Company in Buffalo, New York. But everyone was making this kind of hat. So we came up with the big idea to make the best caps for the biggest sport. But something wasn't quite right. We wanted to show the logos with pride. And just like that, the iconic 5950 was born, changing the baseball cap forever. For the first time, the caps the pros wore on the field were officially sold in stores. And then something unique happened. Spike Lee called, the Spike Lee, and asked to have a red Yankees cap to match his jacket. We asked Major League Baseball, and they said, we had a chance to be disruptive. Spike's red cap launched sports headwear into a wider culture. Hip-hop made it a staple. Creators made it their own. Colors, fabrics, patterns. It was more than just your favorite team. And a gold sticker on the visor became as iconic as the cap itself. And those 4 numbers, we think it's an original production number. We don't know for sure, but we love them. From courtside to Crenshaw, from the 50 to 5th, it shouted that this is who you were, what you repped, and where you lived. The world saw it and wanted it. Where were we? Staying true to our roots. Fans of all sports became fans of us. People liked what we were doing, so our brand grew, and we became more than just a cap. That's 100 years. We thank you. Enjoy what comes next.
Welcome back inside the Meridian Center in St. Catharines, Ontario. To say a lot has gone into getting this summer series underway would be an understatement. The fact that we're sitting here today doing basketball games is a testament to everybody behind the scenes, and one of the people obviously in front of the scenes who's a spokesperson for all the work that's going on, but he would tell you how much has been done by everybody else involved. Is Mike Moriali, the commissioner of the CEBL, and he sat down with Amy Audibert for this interview.
One of the big talking points leading into the summer series has been the Canadian talent, and the amount and the quality has gone right up. I'm really excited, but why do you think some of our best basketball players are coming home to play?
Well, last year, you know, we had the kind of proof of concept phase. We had a tremendous group of basketball players that played, no doubt about it. Many who are still playing here this year. But we started to see, you know, new agents, new players, higher name guys, just knocking on the door. And you know, we added about 75 new players this year. We have, you know, over a dozen senior men's national team players. We have guys from all over the G League, from NCAA to U Sport, etc. And the quality of coaching's gone up, the quality of players has gone up, and I think we proved to them, oh, these guys are kind of legit here. And you know, some of it is good karma and silver linings amidst everything that was going on. So all of our best players were home already in March, where they wouldn't have been home till mid-May or even into June. And they weren't going back anywhere else, so we kind of had a really captive audience. And it's worked almost as we scripted it, and I'm really happy about that. And I really can't wait for those guys to return next year and get a feel for the whole experience, right? From their home markets and the whole shooting match. And let's start here and get it off the ground and get it going, and then we'll take the next step. Earlier on today, put your hand up. You know, how many of you guys have buddies that are playing basketball right now? It ain't happening. So this is like the platform. And I'm proud that it's a Canadian platform sprinkled in with some top international players. You know, they're showcasing not only what they do on the court, but how to do it safely and effectively. And I think we're going to be someone that people are able to go to from not only a pro sports level, but more importantly from an amateur sport, a minor sport level, and say, how do we pull this off? Because there's thousands of young kids that need to play and want to play basketball.
Welcome back. We have Kyle Julius walking past us right now as Amy Oliver stands over on the baseline waiting to talk to coach. And, you know, a lot of positives coming out of that one, but I'm sure Kyle Julius, if I know him the way I do, he didn't have a lot of positives to say in that halftime. He wants to make sure that his guys stay on top of it.
You know what? They played such a good first half. He didn't even want a halftime to exist. Yeah. You know, he just said, let's go play the second half. That's what he really wants on that. And I said, Kyle always, he does well with guys who have chips on their shoulders and something to prove. He feels he can coach those guys up. And he's done a great job as that. Now, can they keep that intensity up? Let's see.
And we're going to throw it over now to Amy Oliver, who's alongside Kyle Julius. Say hi for us, Amy.
Hey, Jason, thank you. Coach, that's an impressive start to the summer series for your squad. How do you keep them mentally engaged in the second half?
I did not like the last couple minutes.
I knew you were going to say it.
I don't know. I didn't see anything impressive out there. I told the guys it's a 4-quarter game. In fact, it's really 5, right? You got, you know, now we've got a quarter and a half and then a whole separate game. We got to play that Elam. So I didn't, you know, it was okay, but you know, we're halfway there, not even.
Okay, but the number doesn't lie. 59 points in half is pretty high-octane offense. Are you confident or concerned that you can keep that up because you know Edmonton's going to try to slow you down?
I was told we were too small. I was told, you know, we didn't have enough guys. So we'll see. But, you know, we start fighting here, and it's just the first quarter. It's the first half of the first game of a 6-round fight, right? This tournament's 6 rounds, right? So you got to stay in the fight, and we'll see what happens. This is a good basketball team. They're well coached, so we got a long way to go.
We always appreciate your time, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Jason.
Kyle Julius answering those questions the exact way we would expect him to, Joe.
Well, when he says I was told, sounds like a president south of the border. I was told. I want to know who told him that, because if you look at this roster, you know there's no quit on a lot of these guys their entire career.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We talk about the keys to the game heading into this one, Joe. I mean, I'm pretty sure Fraser Valley checked off all those boxes that you laid out.
Absolutely, and you know they started early in the game by playing through Cam Fortin and getting the ball into him on the offensive end, and then getting into their offense quickly. They do a great job of off the rebound, not just looking for the outlet, dribbling and then looking for the outlet. They don't slow anything up. They maximize a 24-second shot clock better than any team we've seen so far in the series.
The one thing that Coach Julius did say is that he didn't like those last couple of minutes, and something we pointed out as well. The Stingers got Adiga, Peter McNeil, got it going offensively, and they got some stops defensively. So on that side of the ball, on Coach Jermaine Small, what do you think his conversation was?
Well, he's going to build on that last bit. He's going to say, listen, guys, we've got to stop them in transition. We've got to do a better job on the ball. And he might be looking at how they're going to handle that post reaction. They might have to bring help because they're not real big inside either, just so that they're dealing with the Forte and the Olu situation a little bit better.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting second half. I really liked Kyle Julius's take on things there. Because the thought that he looked at it like it was a 5-quarter game. And I'm sure that's what he was talking to his players about they had a bit of an extended training camp because they didn't play yesterday. So to be able to look at it that way, very, very interesting because that final 4 minutes is definitely different, and we've already seen it different than any other part of basketball.
Kyle wants to win the battle of mental toughness. And he's already told his guys, we've got to win these 5 quarters that he's talking about. And he's been fighting that. Kyle did a great job. And like you said, he started when he was in Taiwan with the Zoom calls and starting, getting his guys prepared mentally.
Well, they came out ready mentally, but now this second half, totally different story. You know that the Stingers are going to understand what type of fight that they're in for. But the other thing that Coach Julius said, 6-round fight, just to get into the playoff rounds. Kanukin with the rock. Malcolm Duvivier. He had a hot start for Fraser Valley, and this was the man who got it done down low. Cameron Forte working on Daniels. Daniels coming out, and he said, give me Forte, coach. Let me put a stop up on him.
The one thing that Daniels can do on Forte is he can stay to the ground and react to his shot because of his length and his ability to jump.
There's the Steelers bench getting up as Diawara turns a defensive stop into 2 points the other way. Capers on the wing. Johnson with 15 on a perfect shooting performance in the first half. Xavier moved. That was clean.
Xavier Moon didn't quit on that play. He chased it on, and he kept coming back and getting them.
Going to work, Xavier Moon. That's MVP. And that is a timeout, 58 seconds in the third quarter. Kyle Julius wants to talk things over.
So now the 2 most important players coming into the game, you would say, I talked about Xavier Moon and Travis Daniels. So let's look at Xavier here. He takes the basket, he's really good in short spaces, attacks the rim with this all the way, and he's finding a way to finish right there.
Went in with the left hand off of glass. Very interesting to see Fraser Valley, Coach Julius said he didn't like those final 2 minutes. It's now stretched into the first minute of this third quarter. And it doesn't look like he's going to change his personnel, just something that he wanted to talk over. Maybe due to a bit of a matchup change there with Daniels on Forte down low.
And I said that they're going to have to find a different way of defending the post. I thought maybe bringing help, but what they did was made a personnel change. They didn't want Daniels to start the game on Forte because they were worried about him fouling, getting in foul trouble. Now they're in a desperate situation. They've got to put their best defensive lineup on the floor and get their best matchups.
Yeah, when you're looking at the foul situation, Marcus Capers is the only one with 3 fouls. And the Stingers in very, very good position when it comes to fouls. Only one player with more than 1, so that gives Coach Small a little bit more flexibility on who he wants to throw at the different players.
And I think it's a great idea because I think it gets Travis Daniels in the game. He may not have got the touches that he wanted in the first half, but now he's a key focus on the defense.
No good. Sky in for the rebound. Back the other way. Wayne Small had to duck out of the way.
Great catch by Baker on that.
Wayne Small saying, I'm playing days behind me. Wing 3. Big time shot.
Real good execution on both solid screens. Probing the middle there. Bombay.
Yeah, that was a combo with the huge defensive rebound on one end and big time 3 on the other. Just like that, it leads down to 10. Transition. Baker. Oh, it's open again. Come from downtown. The Stingers are back in the game.
So all those 50-50 plays, little scrambles now. Stingers have been taking advantage of that. Now the hands in the passing lane, pressure on the basketball. I was complimenting the Bandits getting the ball up the court quickly, but it's hard to get the ball up the court quickly when you're being guarded like that. So Xavier Moon and Travis Daniels have made a huge difference defensively already in the second half.
You're liking what you're seeing out there between the Stingers and Fraser Valley. You can wear the latest gear exclusively from New Era, the official merchandise partner of the CEBL. Visit the store at cebl.ca to pick up your favorite team gear. Dugan working on Moon. Fires it to Forte. Gets closed up pretty quick. Menega fires it into the corner. Step back three. Kyle Johnson, no good. That was Johnson getting his own rebound. I mean, he was fading away on that three. He was still the first one there to get on the glass.
Sometimes you as the shooter know that you're going to miss, and so the advantage is you.
Dugan. Kick up. No good. Baker got away with a bit of a shove on the back. Fraser Valley now just completely ice cold on offense. And Dugan steps in and draws the shot.
There's a lot of similarities between Junior and Kyle Lowry. In taking that charge, Junior's hit the floor his entire life on both ends, but he does a real good job of leading the guy out of control. He steps in there and he anticipates.
Kiawara heads to the bench with three. In comes Deacon Peter McGill. Off the screen, Menega. Peters going back to Forte. Nice spin to the baseline.
Great spin.
Great steal.
And Baker was trying to help, but he was helping from the high end, and Forte saw that. Great spin.
Oh, look at Kadukin with the hands. Menega spinning. Great handle on the ball. Johnson up top. Forte taking it off the dribble. Corner three. That is much needed. That's Capers from downtown. Fraser Valley just did not have it going from range here. That's a big time shot.
Cam Forte made a nice read there. Saw that Daniels spaced off a little bit and didn't force it, and he found the open shooter.
Menega, good hands there.
So you look at momentum, how it changed a little bit. Edmonton had a chance down 9. They get called on the charge, bring it to 7, and all of a sudden 5 quick points. And now we got here's the Bandits at 12.
Yep. Looked like they were looking for Kyle off the screen. Instead, McNeely launches. Transition game. This is what they did in the first half, Fraser Valley. Forte. I like the mid-air theatrics there.
I loved it. And the run out with 4 guys on it. You know, bad shots, bad long shots lead to runouts all the time.
Forte with the swipe. Push it back. Kadukin. Ooh, Junior Kadukin feeling it right now.
And he wants everyone to know.
Dugan, you think, I knew he was looking forward to this series. You can tell right now he's gassed up. Battle.
Those are 2 guys that have been on the ground a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think Jordan Baker's thrown a couple elbows and he's received a couple elbows.
Going to reintroduce the third member of our crew, Amy Audibert. What you got?
Listen, I had the opportunity to talk to Coach Julius earlier this week about some of the guys he was most impressed with, and the first guy he said was Junior Kadukin. He said, I've known him for a while. Right now, he looks as good as he ever has, not just in terms of his body and being in shape, but also his leadership capabilities. You're seeing it on the court. We're all seeing it, Coach.
Yeah, I believe when it comes to Junior Kadukin, it's somebody just a player that anybody involved in the Canadian basketball community has really watched grow up, right? Like before our very eyes. We've seen the good and the bad that come to that. And you know a kid at the age of 14 or 15 who's still learning themselves as a human being, but now seeing the junior Cadogan, the veteran now, I mean, what a long way he has come.
He is a beloved character in the Marquette basketball family. One of the top, leaves Marquette one of the highest amount of wins on a team, any player in Marquette history. He has a great history of players. He had 4 great years at Marquette. And Buzz Williams now, the coach at Texas A&M, loves Junior. Just loves his character and talks about Junior all the time. So he's left an impression as a player in university, and as a pro, he's just a bulldog.
And he has played at the highest levels when we talk about the NCAA Sweet 16, Elite 8, and playing the role of floor general on those teams.
And has answered the national call every time.
Absolutely. I think Junior is a perfect example of the type of guy that the CEBL is all about. Somebody who has the opportunity here in the summertime to be able to advance his game. And he has having himself quite an afternoon here. Kyle Johnson up at top, running off the screen. Capers, corner, Menega. That is good. Jahens Menega, the Creighton graduate. And back on the baseline, somebody we haven't talked about a lot. He's out.
And that stops an 11-0 run, much needed.
Foul. Lead is back up to 18, just like that.
I love the way Fraser Valley was pushing and pushing and pushing. They pushed themselves out of that little lull early in the quarter just because they didn't change who they were. They just kept pushing and grinding.
Close to a 5-second, he just gives it up. Forte, just letting them know that you're not going to get a basket under after the something else.
Listen, the players have to know. The referees aren't calling the second foul. They called the first one. If you're going to go up there, someone's going to give it to you.
You know, we're still very early. This is the final 2 teams getting their first game of the series. But there's going to be guys who get to know each other pretty quickly in these games, and if they end up matching up when it comes to the playoff time, it's you know, a lot of bad blood's going to show pretty quickly.
Yeah, and they're all 1 floor away from being roommates.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a release of the pressure valve when it's all said and done. Right now, these guys are just relishing the fact that they're back on the floor. Classic, open, 3, no good. Good poke away, but fingers maintained. Good ball movement, Clark. 3 is good.
And you hit it right on the head. Good ball movement. It started with the Peter McNeely throwing that skip pass, causing a closeout. All of a sudden, one more pass, you got yourself an open 3.
I've seen a little white power in Clark. Is that just a look, or is that a little bit of the game too?
He's got lots of skills.
Very impressed with what I've seen. Menega. Ooh, in and out, but look at that. Guy in from the putback.
And that's what Marcus Capers does. He just gets it. He's got great hang time, long defender, real good slasher, but an incredibly solid offensive rebounder.
Daniels, handoff. Trying to get it back to Daniels because he's got Klassen on him. But wide open Clark, back-to-back 3s, still good.
Capers does a nice job. A little light on the weight, puts his body on him. Picking up a foul.
Checker back in the game here for the Stingers. Long-time PA announcer Roger Wood here at the Meridian Center. Copying my words out here. Oh, Cadogan. again. From downtown, Caducan is on one right now. Almost got a smile out of his head coach, Kyle Julius.
And Merrick Palmer's going to find you, right? What a great pass on the drive.
Nice take.
Left-handed player who can put it down on his right hand and does everything real strong and deliberate. Real good finish by Jordan. He can play through contact. That's one of his strengths.
Baker and Daniels, quite a duo down there, and they're starting to get fired up. Still stuck 16 right now.
Baker trying to complete the three-point play.
Shiver.
And you know what? And it's a great play because he caused a little separation with it, right? A lot of guys you see do that, and that's a Kyle Lowry play. Where you put the shoulder in, you cause a little separation.
No good for McNeely because Capers did a great job of bothering him. Cadugan now. Smart move, passing it up. And Klassen. Oh, there. Klassen has his Bandits up off the bench.
And that was a good example with this unit on the floor right now of spacing it, playing 5 out. The fact that you just knocked down a couple shots, all of a sudden now you're all spaced out, and it just gave Klassen that lane that he needed.
But that's when we talk about the basketball IQ and maturity we're seeing from Cadugan. I mean, 6 years ago he probably would have launched that shot, maybe. You know what I mean? Back in his high school days, he would have put it up as a heat check. Smart, ran off the line, ball movement, results in another 2. Drive, step back by the length of Tavaria Nix.
Yeah, one thing that Kyle did tell me about this team, he said Tavaria Nix has a lot of ability and length, and he's impressed. So you put him and Marcus Capers on the floor together,
this bucket, they need them right now to the Stingers, not the Iwara. See a Calgary product. Menega. Drive. Cadugan. Olsen. Cadugan. No good. You're almost thinking it's going to go through every time now. Yanks it free.
nice bounce, open Jay.
Daniels.
And a Jordan Baker steal there, eh? He doesn't get the rebound, but he puts his head in there and he knocks it off somebody's feet. He's been doing that his entire career.
Oh, Baker trying to tip pass it back to the inbounder. Nix has to save it. Dugan up top. Yeah, he's telling Nix to take the mismatch. Could not get position. They forced it, resulting in a turnover. Out of control. I think the ref called it because of the out of control, not about the action.
And that one hurts them because Bombi's had some foul trouble for them, and they need him for a little bit of offense.
Brody Clark is back behind the bench, had to bring back in. They've relied heavily on the young gun, Brody Clark, in this one. 42 seconds to go, a 19-point lead for the Bandits over the Edmonton Stingers. Game 2 of day 2 of the CEBL Summer Series. Classic. Oh, Cadugan was open, but Nix missed a gimme.
What a great pass.
Right?
What a great pass.
Oh, again, Capers. The second attempt is good from Baker. Just 10 seconds to go. Cadugan with the rock. He's got Baker on.
Yeah, he wants that matchup.
And a foul to give. They took it. 4 seconds left.
Leaders foul, all underneath number 14, Cody Clark. His second foul.
Good knowledge there by the Stingers, knew they had it.
And another foul to give here. Now 4 seconds, watch the inbounder. Oh no, we were in bonus, I apologize. I looked at the foul sheet there, and the fact that Fraser Valley, as tough as they play, only had 2. I thought, now that can't be right. And I was confused by that.
I think Jermaine Small was under the same mindset. Free throw, Baker pushing it. Baker cannot beat the clock. It's an 18-point lead for Fraser Valley. Fourth quarter action, including 4 minutes of Elam time. Stay with us, folks. We got a great ending coming your way from St. Catharines, Ontario.
Elam ending is upon us, and they take the timeout to set the target score. Gets up into the air, gets it to go! Not there, Boucard in the corner for 3. Guillaume Boucard at the buzzer, drains it, and the Niagara River Lions get out of here with a 93-92 victory.
Ticket drive started yesterday. It will run through the entire CEBL Summer Series. Visit thebandits.ca or thestingers.ca to place your $50 deposit and secure your 2021 season tickets, or purchase your season tickets completely by the end of this summer series, and you will receive a 12% discount. Be a great third season of the CEBL. You'll want to make sure you check that out, and in the meantime, definitely hit up all the team sites to become a member of their fan club. And great job done here by everybody involved, the branding and marketing of this league. And the fan base is so strong. They're following along on social media and the presence that all the different fan bases have. You can hashtag #OurGame to be in on the conversation. Right now, the conversation is all about the Fraser Valley Bandits and how come nobody picked them. Of course, this is just game 1. Oh wait, I think there might have been somebody who picked them there. I don't know who that was, Joe.
Offensive foul, Fraser Valley number 3, Eric Larson, his third foul, 82nd.
I don't get involved in that. I leave the betting to bet, Chris.
Nobody likes predictions, except when they're forced upon you. Baker, no good. Back the other way. Vivier finishes good. Malcolm Vivier.
So we take a long 3, people aren't ready for it. Those long rebounds, those run-outs, this is where Fraser Valley is exceptional at.
I really, that's Xavier Moon with 2. Every game when they're back, when you're talking about is a series like this. You know, the fact that Saskatchewan came out today with 2 of their top players and easily handled the River Lions. Every game is going to be different. Wow. Cadogan even knows the personnel, saying it's off of Baker, not off of them, off of Baker.
Yeah, he's read a few scouting reports.
Substitution for Fraser, Kyle Johnson checks back into the game.
Just over a minute into this fourth quarter again. Just over 4.5 minutes will be going to UMM time with a target score. We'll get into that later. Cadogan, crossover, forces the contact and has a big smile at Brody Clark. Big young buck, you got a lot to learn still.
Yep, and that's exactly what he was thinking. He was thinking that, and he said, okay.
His third foul. Team's first of the fourth quarter.
And I was there once, Brody.
Junior Cadogan at the line.
Cadogan at the line, shooting free throws. Junior with 11 points, 3 boards, a couple of assists as well. Papers still lights out from the floor in this game. But again, we talked about time and time again, Bandits defense that's coming off that defense.
And it's the balance. 5 guys in double digits at the end of the third quarter. Here we go, a little defensive change.
Oh, outlet. Knicks leaked out. And he finishes.
And that's something in a series like this. One area you have to work on is defensive transition. And it's hurt Edmonton tonight. And that's something that they'll get better at as they go through this series.
Daniels flexing his muscle down low.
Fraser Valley foul called their 8 number 13. His third foul.
8 minutes left.
Team's third.
Up big. It's just about, we talk about it all the time, Coach, little 2-minute increments. And you want to be able to win every one of those 2 minutes. And that's exactly what Coach Julius was talking about at the end of that first half.
And there's some timeouts to give here. So what you're going to find a situation like Coach Julius doesn't have one to give, but you're going to find the next timeout, we're going to try to play to the 4-minute mark. Everybody's looking at that 4-minute mark as 0. This is what Kyle talked earlier about playing 5 quarters.
If you're the Stingers, the opportunity to chip away at that lead into that time. From the charity stripe.
I think that Peter McNeely checks back in for Edmonton.
And a small lineup here for Edmonton with Cam Forte on the court. It's different playing small when he's not on the floor.
He just looked at the young kid hard, but could not get it to go. Transition.
And what Edmonton is learning about Cam is he's very left-handed on the take, but he can finish with both hands. And there you saw Brody, who's a bright kid, realize I've got to take it out of his left hand.
That's the other thing you're going to see. Like, there's only so much advanced scouting you could do heading into this series. And, you know, that's where it comes down to head coaches, coaching staff, what they can see from game to game, and throw different things at teams. Brody Clark, quarter 3, cash money.
So when you switch in defense and out of bounds on there, you went that 2-3 zone. That full reversal got the zone to have to rotate. And the last rotation was to the corner, and Cody was open for it. Locked and loaded.
Oh, deeper move, picking pockets. Cadogan busts his way through. Foul called, and it's going to go back the way of the Stingers. Amy Otterberg checking back in, third member of our crew.
Coach, you mentioned Brody Clark being really smart to take away that left hand. Well, you know what? A little bit academics too. He's a civil engineering graduate. That's what he studied at Alberta. I talked to him. He's actually went back and is in the middle of his MBA, put it on pause so he could go play pro basketball. But he's a really smart guy. And I asked, you know, what's your dream job after hoops? And he said, building high rises. So the guy's just cerebral on the court and off.
That's good. I think Amy was talking to you, Coach.
Well, I heard her, but he comes from great stock. Norm was a national team captain, Bonaventure captain.
He's got a brother that's a doctor, too. Bowie and Clark.
Must have one smart mother.
Santa Clara. Nice pass here for Forte once again. Carving out space, making it happen for the Bandits, who are back up 20, 6:39 to go.
One of Cam Forte's last games, he dropped 41, 33 minutes. He is a natural scorer.
Oh, Clark, drop off. Oh, we almost had our first poster of the summer series, but no good. Boom, gets it back, taking it into the teeth of the D. Baker trying to tip it in, no good. Bandits coming away with it. They called foul there in transition.
That was scrappy play, but lots of hustle.
Joe, we're back tomorrow for 2 more games. I hope you're not sick of me yet, pal. We've got 2 more to go. Tomorrow, we'll be back. We're talking Fraser Valley and the Rattlers on July 28th. That's the next game for Fraser Valley. And then you got the Stingers tomorrow against the Blackjacks.
Yeah, great game tomorrow in that you've got 2 teams that right now maybe not brought their best effort, and people were thinking very high things of both of them, so they may have to regroup. The hard part for Edmonton is now they got to come off a back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-backs are going to be tough for everybody. We saw it, the River Lions today were without their starting point guard, and when it comes down to it, that's just, we talked about the relation to kind of FIBA basketball. You need that depth, and on top of that, you need the interchangeable parts. But one thing we haven't talked about yet is just matchups. And a lot of these teams, it's just different matchups when they match up against each other and obviously positionally player against player.
Yeah, absolutely. But the one matchup we haven't seen in the 4 games so far is we haven't seen a team that match each other, mentality with toughness.
Yes.
Every game we've seen, somebody was just a little bit tougher than their opponent, and it didn't become a technical win. It became a win of imposing your will on them.
Yeah.
And in all 4 games, we've seen that. And I think that will kind of change because people find themselves. And I think as it goes along, people will match the intensity. If they don't, they won't survive.
Well, and I think the one thing that we haven't talked about yet as well is, these are guys that had a 7 to 8 day training camp. They haven't played at game level speed for months now. And they're turning it up on the brightest lights. And there is another tip in. Forte asking for the score table to make sure they put him down for a rebound as well.
Absolutely, and that he wants to make sure. That's an absolutely great call.
He wants his double-double because he's up to 22 points and 9 boards. He wants his 20-10 game. Wants to make sure he gets it recorded properly. Again, for the box scores, you can go on cebl.ca. Sometimes the final box scores take a bit because of the Elam ending changing things up when you relate the Elam ending alongside our FIBA rules. And we're just a minute 35 away from those final 4 minutes. The first whistle inside of 4 is when the Elam ending will take hold. The Bandits, withstood the storm that the Stingers brought here to start the second half, and they're back in a comfortable lead. Forte to the baseline.
Yeah, he's so cagey in there, and because he can do many things with his right hand, he just reads it and reads it and reads it. I don't know if one guy's going to be able to stop him in the post because he's so good at it. You may have to bring someone, or at least bluff by bringing someone.
I'll tell you this, Daniels is Forte's shadow right now. Good D by McNeely. They called him on the foul.
And part of that is Kyle Johnson, who can sell it, eh? He knew it. He knew it was close, and he knew it was down at the end of the shot clock, and he was trying to sell it, and he won it.
So hard if you're a coach, because that's exactly what you want your defender to do. Get out there, put the hand up. Johnson at the line, hits the first. And we got a technical called on Jermaine Small. Just having a conversation with Forte about different thoughts he had about the, I think he was talking about the electronic whistles. Is what I think his concern was.
So we've got our first tee of the series.
Yes.
And it's a tough one to get because you're getting near Elam time. Like every point now, you just put yourself deeper in a hole.
Yeah.
I think the first thing about it being in a hole, right? Stop digging. You like the way they heard that, hey? Minute and a half, fellas. Minute and a half, fellas. That idea of 5 quarters is instilled.
Yep. And like we saw in the last game, it doesn't matter what the score is heading into it. It's a learning process of how you're going to play. You have to see how your players are going to play in the final 4 minutes, and then you need to be able to use that as a teaching point heading into your next game.
Absolutely, and it shows you that they believe in it.
Iwara rocking the baby to sleep on the crossover and finishing softly in the lane. The big bucket. But don't look now, the Bandits have already cracked the century mark with 5:10 left in the fourth quarter.
In under 35 minutes. And Kyle's trying to tell us, I don't know if we can score. I don't know if we can score.
He's going to run out of mind games to play, I think. It's only game 1. Cadogan's cooled off a little bit on the shooting stroke. Still running things, though, for the Bandits. Ooh, slipped. Got it back out. Nix. Oh, great hands. Peter McNeely. Oh, taken back by Cadogan. They're going to call it a kickball.
Yeah, and good play by Junior there. He kind of read that, and he knew that he had to bail his team out on that. Good read.
Clock did not start, I believe. They're trying to get that rectified. Shout out to everybody here at the Meridian Center coming back together after a lengthy break, getting things going here for the summer series. Obviously, it's been quite a different time for everybody, and getting back into the quote-unquote office is a change for everybody, but everybody's done an outstanding job here in St. Catharines. Just day 2 of this summer series that will run till August 9th. The entire schedule can be found on cebl.ca. Of course, we will have a number of games on CBC Sports nationwide here in Canada.
You see here the change in balls. The ball was wet. We've got 4 balls in play at the CBL Summer Series here, in that they're all disinfected, they're all ready to go, and they've been 4 game balls so that we have, if the situation occurs or somebody touches the ball not comfortable with, we just change it up.
Yes, I saw one of the players go over and try to take one for warm-ups, and he was directed away rather quickly. Forte working on Peter McNeely. Vivier, kick out, Cadogan. Wing 3, no good. Rebound for the Stingers. 4:15 to go. Knocking on the door of Elam time. Moon. Big shot by Moon. Cuts it to 20. Vivier.
And the Stingers chose not to call a timeout before Elam time because they thought they had a little bit of flow going.
And Kyle Julius instructed Vivier to foul him in order to get into that. Again, a lot of different interesting things go into that. And I'm sure that was something that, hey, if we're up big and we're knocking on the door of Elam time, let's get to it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So now he's ready to go there. He's got a plan, and he may have a different lineup if they're behind, a lineup if they're ahead. And the big thing that the Elam time that we're finding is for the teams that are ahead is take advantage of turnovers, because the turnovers turn around and allow you to get easy scores.
And as we always do at Elam time, we remind everybody about everything that goes into it.
Okay, so Elam time started with the first stoppage under 4 minutes. We have a target score thrown up there right now, and the target score is 111. That will become our target score. The game clock stops, it gets reset. First team to reach it or surpass it wins the game. There's going to be a winner, a game-winning shot. It could be a free throw, a layup. And a couple rules come into effect when we're talking about Elam time that you should be aware of. One is if you get scored upon, you can substitute. And that's really important because teams will use that offense to defense. And after a timeout, because you have 2 timeouts maximum going into Elam time, you have the choice if you call timeout to put the ball in the front court or the back court. And then any foul, this is a tough one. If you foul off the ball as the ball's being inbounded, there's a huge penalty because it's an unsportsmanlike foul. That means 2 shots in the ball. So you got to be really noticeable not to commit a bad foul in that situation. So the target score is up, 111. Edmonton's thinking all we got to do is get 21 points and stop them from scoring.
111, I believe, in the short history of Elam ending time here in the CBL. I believe that's the largest score, the largest target score that we've had.
Well, when you start putting up 85 in the third quarter, we're going to have a huge target score. So what happened is it ended up on a foul here, so we were going into bonus. So what we've got a situation is the referees realized it was bonus. They've now gone to a free throw. It's like a unsportsmanlike free throw. He'll take 2 shots with nobody in the key. And on the second one, make or miss, the ball will be inbounded out of bounds.
Gotcha.
Now this was supposed to happen before the timeout.
Okay. Everybody's learning something new.
So what will happen is some people get confused with the Elam time and the TPT. So this should have happened before the timeout, and it'll be adjusted. He'll get 2 shots, and the target score will still be 111 because the team that's losing is at the free throw line. It won't affect the target score. It'll just get them a little closer.
That's important.
Yes.
Just so we know that the 111 does not change. That is going to be the target score. It's just a matter of how many the Stingers are going to need to get to that 111 to pick up the win, but that is going to be one heck of a comeback for the Stingers. But also, as you had mentioned, points scored could be very important in this series as well.
Absolutely. So in the Elam time, what you're talking about is you want to make a game of it because, again, it's always point 4.
Amy, have you been able to make any sense of this, or are you going to talk about something else?
No, well, just worth noting also with the Elam, don't forget the game that we saw earlier today. Saskatchewan had a pretty nice lead going into that final frame, and it got really sticky. Now, of course, they still won the game, but afterwards, talking to Rashawn Brown, I asked him, I said, what happened out there? And his advice moving forward would be, listen, we played not to lose the game. And so I don't think we're going to see that from this Bandits team. They seem pretty locked on and focused. But I guess here we go.
Yeah, it's definitely a new world for everybody, that is for sure. And I think it's one of those things that, you know, you always say not to play to the clock, not to play to the score, but it's kind of hard to tell your guys not to play to the score when there is a score to get to.
You find me a sports psychologist that can teach people, give you the secret of how to play not to lose and how to play to win. That's a wealthy sports psychologist. Like, we do it all the time in all sports. You hear prevent defense, and when you hear it, you're thinking, oh no, that's the last thing it's going to do. The nice thing about Elam is, because the clock doesn't affect you, play your game. Play your style, your game.
Oh, Dugan took it hard. And a turnover, Stingers will get it back.
The great thing about Elam time is you've taken a major factor out of the game, and that's the clock. You need strong possessions on both ends, and you can get in the game or win a game.
The thing I have to get used to is the red lights up on the backboard. Transition, Vivier, no good. Forte battling, clean strip. Vivier, no good. And here come the Stingers. Moon, mid-range game is good.
That's a layup for him. He is a great pull-up jump shooter at the elbow. He does a nice job of holding his momentum and getting lots of lift.
Vivier. Off the Forte screen. Vivier, back rim, top of the backboard. All of a sudden, Edmonton just playing loose and free. Forte spins on Daniels. Wow, he has had his way today.
And I want to see his shot chart because all of them are inside that circle.
Daniels, the rebound, he beat Forte down the floor. Corner three. Wow, Xavier Boone's just so easy for him. It's like, it's consistently now in all three games, when Elam time hit, the team that's been trailing has come out strong.
And it gives them a little bit of life. I think that's what helps them. But the team that's won the 2 games, so well, 3 games so far, is a team that's leading, and eventually they just wear you down. The one thing you can't do if you're behind is you can't turn it over and you can't foul. You can't give up easy baskets.
Capos checking back in, adding some more size to the Stingers lineup. Forte, good on the first.
Now the big difference between this and the TPT, in the TPT, if you get fouled on the ground in bonus, it's 1 end the ball. Here they've adapted all the FIBA rules, so it's 2 shots.
Fraser Valley now 5 points away from taking this game. Boom, mid-range. Couldn't get the roll on that one. Good battle by Daniels. Cleaning up the mess. Travis Daniels been doing it a couple of years now in the CEBL.
Fraser Valley's doing a good job of running deliberate action, deliberate sets.
Lots of movement off the ball. Cadogan now battling Moon. Kick out, Menega, good head fake. Shot fake freed up Menega, but he couldn't get it to go. Daniels, Peter McNeely, lots of contact there.
Yeah, and I think Travis on that transition, if he looked on the other side, I think he had an alley-oop to Mamba on that. But what Edmonton did a nice job here on that high ball screen that the Bandits ran, because they didn't respect Forte as a shooter. So they doubled on the ball and made Forte, he popped, but they didn't respect him there. But if he rolled, that's a whole different situation.
That was Menega with the hard foul. Peter McNeely hits the first from the charity stripe. .106.91 with 111 being the target score here for the Elam ending. CEBL adapting it for the first time in this summer series. Cadogan, I think he was surprised how open he was when he got past Capos, and kiss off a glass is good.
I think he was surprised he had Capos on him.
Moon surveying the defense and turns it over. Menega back the other way. Forte looks him off and finishes again. Forte has put in work here at the Meridian Center.
And that's taking advantage of the turnover.
We are now 1 bucket away for the Bandits. Oh, Junior got laid out by the Daniels screen. Capos there for the tipping.
I called Daniels early in the game. I said he's a heck of a screener. So now free throw, three-pointer, two, whatever you got wins the game. This is a good idea.
Forte. Oh, couldn't get it to go. It seemed right that he would have been the one to cash it. Adika, Peter McNeely, no good. Oh, and Cadogan got called for the foul on the slap down.
And the one thing when you're behind on this, you don't have to rush us. When you have advantages 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, the 2 points is just, it's like, don't settle. You're not fighting the clock, so you don't need the 3. Take what they give you, and that'll help you. Now, another strategy a lot of teams are doing when they're ahead in this situation where you've got a 17-point lead, you may foul early so that you don't give up a 3. You don't want the team to use 3s to get you. You might send them to the free throw line rather than them get a possession where they get a 3-point play.
No good. The Bandits with a chance to end things here. Cadogan into the corner. Hard take, but it's Combo with the swat.
So every day there's going to be somebody with the game-winning bucket.
Could be a free throw, could be a layup.
I'm sure Chris is really interested in who it is.
Cadogan working on Moon. Junior Cadogan has it stripped by Xavier Moon. Transition game. Daniels hits from the land beyond. Now 97 for the Stingers.
Now that's a great transition 3 because he had rebounders prepared there in case he missed it.
Handoff. Menega. Johnson. Kyle Johnson. No good. And this is where everybody gets a little tighter with the game on the line, right?
Yep, and this plays a big role in the plus-minus as we go along down here in the series. But see, there's an example right now, up 13, the foul, you put in the line for 2, but it stops a possible transition. Now they've got more up, they have to score more to get you.
Kyle Julius wants to draw something up. He's asking his guys to run in. He knows it's almost done, but he wants to draw something up here off the make or miss free throw to finally put this one to bed.
I think Cam Forte is going to get the ball and he's going to make the decision. And he's going to either he's going to take you one-on-one or he's going to look for the open man. But I think they're going to go through Cam.
Probably be a good person to go through. He's the leading scorer in the game for both teams. Got over the 20-point mark on a 2010 game.
Now the one thing you can do here, not to show your hand, if you're behind, you can substitute. If you're a team that gets scored on, so if Fraser Valley didn't want to put a certain player on the court right now, they could put him on if the basket's made.
Oluashu out there having a chat with Forte. Olu played some key minutes earlier, but has not seen the floor here in the second half. And seeing some things from the bench. Kamba at the line, shooting free throws.
And this has been important for Edmonton because they're playing their best basketball in Elam time. And this moves into tomorrow as they get ready for Ottawa if they're unsuccessful in coming back here.
Good to go. So what do the Bandits have drawn up? We got Klassen back out there.
See, with that timeout,
game on the line. Johnson. Menega. Klassen. Fresh off the bench. Kapos, all kinds of length. Outlet to Kamba. He gets it to go. Stingers aren't going away.
Real good play by Kapos there coming off his man. Look at the early work by Travis Daniels. Look how far out he put Forte.
And it's Kapos again. What a key substitution for Jermaine Small. Throwing Kapos in. He has been a defensive presence there. the last couple trips down the floor. Kyle Johnson set back by Xavier Moon.
Man, the intensity that Edmonton has showed here, right? And the resilience. They haven't quit. That's impressive.
11 on the shot clock. Menega wide open for three. Jahens Menega hits from downtown. Elam ending is over, and the Fraser Valley Bandits pick up their first win of the CEBL Summer Series. Every team now has a game under their belts, and that's important because now it's an opportunity for every other team to be able to scout every one of their opponents heading into tomorrow. And it was definitely the Cameron Forte show, and he'll be joining Amy Audibert in just a short moment. But I think when it comes down to it, both these teams learned a lot about themselves. They learned a lot about the Elam ending and what to do, what not to do. And right now we're going to send it over to Cameron Forte, who's alongside the third member of our crew, Amy Audibert.
Thank you, Jason. Cameron, dominating debut here in the Summer Series, 28-10. But what did you enjoy most about being out there now that we're back to ball?
Basketball. It's been a long 5-6 months since players haven't played basketball, so just getting out there and competing at a high level is what we're looking forward to.
I know Coach Julius probably isn't going to be too happy about the last couple minutes there, but take that out of the way. You guys made a statement. But in your own words, what's the mentality of the team coming into the Summer Series?
We just feel disrespected. We have great players on our team, and I think they counted us out from the jump. But I think that's what everybody on this team wants, so we just out here fighting, and everybody on our team is a dog, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight, and we're going to get some wins.
Congratulations on the Tony set today, Cameron. We'll go back to you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Joe, an outstanding second day of basketball. What is your general thoughts after watching these two games here today?
Man, it's a little bit like yesterday. You have to bring it. You have to bring it. The talent level, there is parity in talent throughout the series, but it's who's prepared that day. And if you're not, you're going to get kicked. And what we saw today is we saw teams impose their wills on their opponent and never let them in the game.
Tomorrow we will be back here live from the Meridian Center. We have the Hamilton Honey Badgers taking on the Guelph Nighthawks starting up at 5 p.m. Eastern here on CBCSports.ca. And then we have the Stingers back taking on the Ottawa Blackjacks. Both those matchups very interesting, especially the Stingers and Blackjacks. Ottawa, not a great debut the other day, and the Stingers picking up this loss. That's going to be two teams that want to get back on the winning side of things.
Those are two teams that people felt were going to be, well, a lot of people felt were going to be real strong. I did, and I still think they're going to be real strong.
Got time, yeah.
And I think they're just going to get better, and I think both those teams are teams that will improve after the loss. Like, every loss here hurts, but if you don't improve after the loss, then it really hurts.
You definitely got to move on. Every game's played in a vacuum. You got to forget it. Keep going and learn from it. Thank you for joining us here. For Amy Audibert, Joe Rasso, I'm Jason Tom for everybody here at the Meridian Center. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow in about 24 hours for some more basketball, the CEBL Summer Series. Thank you for joining us.